Yeah, so simulation really started being a significant factor in Formula One in the early 2000s as testing restrictions were introduced to make sure that driver safety was maintained, and this strong restriction on the amount of track time that teams had available to them meant that teams had to find other ways to explore different options on the car, and simulations, both driver-in-the-loop simulations as well as offline simulations, started to play a really key part in that. And so we went from really rudimentary computer tools just for, say, simulating a suspension geometry through a corner, to really advanced techniques to simulating the full car with the driver in the cockpit or without the driver in the cockpit. And so we start with a Monte Carlo-like approach where lap by lap we want to explore what could possibly happen in terms of the strategy of the race, explore it ahead of time. How good do you think your competitor will be after the pit stop? How slow the tire warm-up will be? If there's a safety car in lap 15, we need to have all of these sort of millions of possibilities. But really the powerful approach is multivariable design optimization approach, where during a single simulation you do not only simulate the setup, but you also optimize for different parameters, and you look for trends in the data, and then you often step back and go, for example, into spot fire and look at the sensitivities, at the fits across the data. Why is it trying to go in a certain direction? What are the trade-offs between two different parameters, that maybe one is making you slower in the corners and faster in the straights and the other is doing the opposite? And where you're finding the sweet spot, there's an immense focus on the aspects of simulation, of data analysis, of data gathering, and of gaining a fundamental understanding of the car on track through digital models of all kinds of analysis methods that we have available to us. Because there's a clear understanding that in order to win races and win championships, the only thing that can get us there is if we fundamentally understand what makes a car fast. And in order to do that, we need to have all of the data that we have ever sort of recorded on track. We need to have all of the simulation capability to look into the future. It's key to have something as robust and as quick as Spotfire. There's a minimal amount of work that needs to be done in order to look at exactly what you want to look at. So if we didn't have Spotfire, we would spend probably hours every day setting up different figures and processing data in a much more cumbersome way.